Happy New Year, What Culture. Can you believe it? We're now in the year 2018. And I still don't have any damn flying cars. When I was a kid in the 80s, I was promised that come 2018, I'd have some damn flying cars. Looking outside, no damn flying cars. They're still just driving on wheels. Pathetic. Anyway, that literally has no bearing on anything, and instead, we're going to turn our attentions to an incident that did happen at the very end of 2017, and an incident that happened at a WWE house show. In short, Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns had a match, and that match was called off because Samoa Joe got busted open so bad, WWE decided, look, we just got to end this now. We just got to bring a stop to the whole thing because he's bleeding too much and we don't like it. And therefore, all the headlines were, of course, WWE stops match because of excessive blood. Well, you know what? I think that WWE should have stopped the match between Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. Why? Here's why. Now, I get what the counter-argument is. In a world where pro wrestling is already struggling in terms of maturity, realism, or believability, how are we meant to buy in when what is meant to be a real fight is stopped because somebody started to bleed? How are we meant to get over the death of kayfabe if incidents like this keep happening? And yep, that makes perfect sense. There was a time years ago where the likes of Terry Funk, Ric Flair, and Dusty Rhodes bled as if their lives depended on it. And that's almost an oxymoron, and of course, it did add to the matches they were in. And that's happened plenty of times within WWE too. I mean, if you're going to bring up blading or bleeding or blood and the WWE, I'm instantly going to start thinking about Bret Hart versus Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13. And yeah, that match was better and more engaging and just, more exciting all around because of all that blood that poured out of Stone Cold Steve Austin's head. Doesn't that sound barbaric? However, as much as I love pro wrestling and as much as I want it to be barbaric, violent and real, I tell you what I value more. I tell you what means more to me, the health and the well-being of the wrestlers themselves. One of the best things about the sport of kings is that it's predetermined, and as such, we can actually take advantage of that and protect the people that are doing it. And what a wonderful thing that is, and if we can do it, we should, because you can damn sure bet your ass in the past there was a time we weren't doing it. While this doesn't tie in directly, I still think it falls under the same remit, but there was a time back years ago where you couldn't get through a few months in pro wrestling without a wrestler passing away, or without there being some tragedy, and it made wrestling really hard to watch, because you're like, this is just miserable. This is just depressing. I want wrestlers to stop dying, please. Now, I'm not saying that because somebody gets cut open in a match that they're gonna die. That would be ridiculous. That is not what I'm saying at all. Just to underline it before the comments start, that is not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying though is that if we finally reached a place where these precautions can be taken, in doing so, we have a much safer environment, well, I'm all for that, no matter what other fallout that may incur. Okay, I may have got a bit annoyed and rolled my eyes when I found out that Reigns versus Joe was stopped because of a cut, but it is this kind of approach that will prevent more serious injury in the future. I'm more interested in the overall thinking here rather than one specific event. It steps in the right direction, even if going in that direction ultimately means the death of what wrestling once was. And on that note, is it even a bad thing that things aren't the same anymore? I'm all for throwing my hands in the air and being like, oh, wrestling was better back in my day and all of that jazz. But things have got to evolve. Things have got to change. You can't stay still, because if you stay still, you're not moving forward, and if you're not moving forward, you're never going to get any better. It's also not like other promotions aren't letting their talent bleed all over the place, because they are. Hell, even New Japan, that doesn't do it that much, let Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega do it a few weeks ago, so it is happening. So if you're obsessed with blood, you can go out there and you can fulfill your blood obsession. Some promotions, some companies are literally just about having wrestlers bleed. That's it. That's all they do, and you can watch it. You can watch it right now. But if we are talking about the biggest one of them all, who do have some kind of standard to set and a public image to keep up, I'm all for WWE doing this, and I actually think maybe it's something they should do. Now, I realise I sound like I'm Samoa Joe's mum, and for the record, I'm not Samoa Joe's mum, just in case you were out there going, wow, Simon's Samoa Joe's mum. I'm not, but what if the injury had have been worse? What if the injury had have been worse, WWE hadn't done anything about it, and there was some serious circumstances here? Then we wouldn't be saying this, then we would be all like the other way. We'd be like, oh, WWE, you should have done something. Sometimes it's all right to err on the side of caution. And that's especially true in a sport where you control the outcomes. Like I've said, that is an advantage we have, so we should take advantage of the advantage. That's what the word advantage means. I think that's something we should be happy about, not whine and moan and cry just because somebody wasn't allowed to bleed a little bit. It's brilliant in many ways. It's brilliant. We can create this wonderful safety bubble that also fills our hearts with joy. You can have that tagline, WWE. That's yours. for a 2% fee. And again, because I know what the comments are like, yes, I understand what the counter argument is, but again, WWE is not the be-all and end-all. They're allowed to make decisions like this, and if you don't like it, you can go out there and find somebody else that lets the blood flow like a fountain. That's a bit extreme and a bit sick, but we live in a bit of an extreme and sick world. Wonderful. And if this had happened during a Ric Flair match in the late 80s, there probably would have been a riot. But here's the thing, it's not the late 80s anymore. We've moved on by a long way in terms of years. And that has meant that some good has come along with that, even if there is a bit of bad with that too. That's what life's all about. That is what life is all about. Life is all about balance. So it's basically Star Wars. You can't have the light side without the dark side, and you can't have the dark side without the light side. So just set yourself up somewhere in the middle and just enjoy the ride as much as you can, because that's all you can do. That's all you can do, so don't be too upset. Just appreciate that this is what it is, that we protected Samoa Joe, and that's good, and now we can enjoy him on Raw. And that's wonderful. So basically be like Kylo Ren. He basically can't decide whether he's light side or dark side. He's a bit in the middle, he's a bit conflicted. Be Kylo Ren, but happy Kylo Ren. Look at that. We've learned today, we've evolved. What a great start to the year. Now don't forget to leave a comment below, like, share and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com and read some articles. They're loads and they're really interesting. And follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. My name is Simon Miller. This should be, hopefully, I don't want to get this wrong so like an idiot, the first Y video of 2018. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon with my weird slant.
Oh, wasn't that something? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe below, and also the people who made this lovely video, they're appearing right here. But if you're thinking to yourself, I want to see more content, Jules, then why not look above my head, as there probably is some. I don't know. I can't see it. Until next time.